Imagine spending your entire life perfecting one skill, only to make a living from it. This is the story of Ironhead, a man whose head is tougher than iron. From a young age, Ironhead and his siblings were trained in dangerous kung fu by their master. As a child, Ironhead could break bricks with his head without feeling pain. His brother, Iron Crotch, hardened his body by repeatedly hitting his sensitive areas with iron rods. Their sister, Roar, could kill with her scream, and her laughter was so loud it could burst eardrums. They were praised for their abilities in their youth, but as they grew older, people lost interest in them. They spent most of their lives unemployed, leaving Ironhead with a massive debt. His head could withstand iron blows, but not the burden of debt. One day, debt collectors came to his house and took everything. Their leader mocked Ironhead for wasting his life on something useless. Frustrated with life, Ironhead decided to change. At the age of 60, he went out to find a job and saw some thugs on the street splitting money. He was surprised by the amount and decided to join them. He followed them to their hideout, but the leader of the gang stopped him, amused that an old man wanted to join their group. They laughed at him, but Ironhead asked for a chance to prove his strength. However, they threw him out. That night, Ironhead's daughter visited him, but he was too proud to ask her for money. Later, Ironhead deliberately threw himself in front of the thug's car. They took him to their hideout to avoid trouble with the police. Impressed by his determination, the gang leader decided to give him a chance. Ironhead accepted the challenge of collecting money from a stubborn businessman. The businessman was sitting in a restaurant with his clients when Ironhead politely asked him to return the money. When the businessman refused, Ironhead spat in his food. Furious, the businessman hit him on the head with a glass bottle. Instead of backing down, Ironhead hit his head with several more bottles, shocking everyone around. The businessman, embarrassed, gave Ironhead his credit card, along with a 30% commission for his effort. Ironhead's success made the gang's right-hand man, Ryder, jealous. He tried to poison the gang leader's mind against Ironhead, but it didn't work. Ironhead quickly earned a lot of money in just a month, filling his home with new things. However, he didn't tell his iron-bodied siblings or his master about his work because they would never approve of his involvement in criminal activities. One day, Ironhead had to collect money from a man named Bao. Bao, under pressure, handed over all his money, but it was only 30,000 yuan, far less than the 300,000 he owed. When Ironhead presented this to the gang leader, he was humiliated. Furious, Ironhead promised to collect the full amount within 3 days. However, that night, Ryder and his men attacked Ironhead and destroyed the loan papers, making it even more difficult for him to collect the debt. As Ironhead reached home, another man came to return his loan. Ironhead was overjoyed, but just then his daughter arrived with her police officer husband. They mistook the man for a difficult debtor and quickly paid off his debt, leaving Ironhead empty-handed. Later, Ironhead's son-in-law began investigating a theft at a house, which turned out to be the home of Bao. Bao had stolen money to pay for his mother's medical bills. He apologized to his family and promised never to do such a thing again. The police, out of compassion, gave some money to Bao's family and left. The next day, Ironhead tried again to collect money from Bao, but a scene broke out on the street. People started cursing and demanding their money back. With no other option, Bao began hitting himself, and seeing this, Ironhead pitied him and quietly walked away, realizing how low he had fallen for money. Meanwhile, Ryder, who had been watching Ironhead from afar, reported everything to the gang leader. Now, even the gang leader began doubting Ironhead's capabilities. Nevertheless, he decided to give Ironhead 3 more days. In the evening, Ironhead's master and iron-bodied brother broke into his house. They quickly realized how he had become so wealthy. They scolded Ironhead for using his training for such bad deeds. The gang they worked for exploited the poor, charging exorbitant interest rates. Ironhead, now deeply ashamed, wanted the ground to swallow him up. He placed all his earnings on the table and vowed never to engage in such work again. But seeing the immense amount of money involved, his master, brother, and sister decided to join him. After all, they had spent their entire lives hardening their bodies. Now it was time to harden their bank accounts. During collections, the master would crush Iron Crotch's jewels with a hammer, terrifying debtors into paying up. With this technique, they earned thousands of yuan in just an hour. However, Bao still owed money. He claimed he had no money left, but they insisted he sell his house to pay off the debt. When he still refused, Roar stood outside his house, yelling non-stop for 2 days. Finally, in frustration, Bao decided to sell his house. The collection team took all the money to the gang leader. Impressed, the leader promoted Ironhead to his top man. For the next month, they continued collecting money with their iron body techniques. They made a lot of money and began living a luxurious life, even training others to become collectors like them. Ironhead hosted a grand party at his place, where the gang leader revealed that the city's biggest loan shark had arrived. The plan was to start giving loans to college students, exploiting their innocence. Ironhead didn't like the idea but remained silent out of fear. The next day, they went to collect money from a college girl. Seeing Iron Crotch's jewels crushed, she got very scared. Ironhead felt ashamed when he saw them exploiting the girl's helplessness. To clear his mind, he spent time with his grandson. His entire family enjoyed a week-long vacation at the beach. But while they were there, they saw Bao's mother and daughter, who were now homeless. The girl blamed Ironhead for her family's situation. In anger, Ironhead's grandson threw a glass bottle at the girl, but Ironhead intervened, taking the hit on his own head. For the first time, blood came out of his head. He realized how terrible his actions had been. Ironhead decided to leave the gang and went to tell the leader about his decision. Although Ironhead was his best man, the leader let him go without a word. Before leaving, Ironhead met with Ling, a gang member, and asked him to look after his grandson. But then he learned that the gang leader's men had beaten up Ling and kidnapped his grandson. The leader wanted to take revenge on Ironhead. Filled with rage, Ironhead was ready to do anything to save his grandson. He sent money to Bao's mother so she could buy a house, and then gathered his team to raid the gang leader's hideout with guns. Seeing the weapons, the gang surrendered. But at the last moment, Ryder accidentally pulled the trigger, revealing that all the guns were fake. The gang then took Ironhead's team hostage and forced them to make a lewd video of a young girl. The gang leader wanted to humiliate them by making them commit such a shameful act. Ironhead refused to hold the camera, so a thug pointed a gun at his head. But before he could shoot, the police raided the hideout. They had learned about the gang's crimes and arrested the gang leader, Ryder, and all the thugs, freeing all the girls they had held captive. Ironhead left the gang life behind and went to live with his daughter. He vowed never to misuse his strength again, along with his brother, Roar, and their master. So, if you could become something extraordinary, what would it be? Let me know in the comments.